Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another fun, financial literacy event hosted and presented by the Peli Firm, which would be your tax and accountant providers. Tonight, we're going to celebrate Women's History Month, and I'd like to thank everyone who's participating in our monthly financial literacy events. Tonight, our focus, again, like I said, will be on women and work as business professionals and entrepreneurs. So tonight we're gonna have a guest. Hopefully, we have our guest speaker, Dawn Hyatt. She's the Assistant Vice President, Business Support Development Officer at Carver Federal Savings Bank, and she'll have 15 minutes to discuss all of what Carver brings to the tables to helping small businesses, women, minority business owners in the metro area. And we're going to also we're going to bring on some presentations from our participants to discuss their successes and, what challenges they may have had in the COVID 2020 scenario from last year. But also we're going to discuss how do we pivot and learn more about their businesses. So I want to share Dawn's screen. That way we can just jump right into it and start to discuss what Carver has to offer and the specialties that Ms. Hyatt brings to our table. So good evening, Dawn. Say a few words and we can proceed.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I want to thank the Peli Firm and Albert for inviting me to represent Carver on this very important, much needed seminar today. So thank you again. Hopefully what I say will resonate and possibly assist with some questions that you have later on during the presentation. So without further ado, I'm just going to get started. Again, thank you. My name is Danette Hyatt. I'm a Business Development Officer for Carver Federal Savings Bank, and I'll elaborate more on that once I go down the line. So tonight I'll be discussing what my role is in the banking industry, the benefits of banking with a Black bank. I'll try to educate families on the importance of savings and building wealth for the future, not just their future, but the future of their generations. And there was also a question posed specifically if I'm a 30-year-old and have not been able to save, how can I start today, meaning March 18, 2021. I'll just show a photo of our board of directors and answer some questions. So what my role is at Carver Bank, again, I'm the business development officer. My role is more like the larger financial institutions, they have like the private bankers. The difference with Carver and another larger bank would be that I'm available to any customers, not because your balance is $1 million. If you have $500, I will still work with you. So I'm a business development officer, and I work with every single customer within our spectrum, whether $500 or $5 million. My door is open to anyone. So that's what I do. And again, I have to retain what I have, meaning that if you are a $500 customer, I will retain that relationship while growing with you as your business grow. And hopefully I will be there along with Carver when you get to that $5 million mark. So we do grow with our customers. Again, it's Women's History Month, and I feel, obligated to share some women in history who, if not one or two, most of us have looked up to. Specifically, just to mention a few, I see a beautiful First Lady, Mrs. Obama. I see Oprah there. I have Maya Angelou. I see Rosa Parks, and just a slew of different women who's made it, whose work has made it possible for me and you to be here tonight to actually share information in a free society for folks of color, of course. So I just wanted to bring that across just to kind of break the ice and, Thank you. Moving on to slide 4. Again, I work at Carver Federal Savings Bank. This bank is a Black-run bank. We were established over 72 years ago. So I'll go back down. Yeah. In 1948, the bank was established to meet the needs of underserved African American within the communities which we serve. Of course, that was before gentrification started. So our branches were strategically placed in areas where there were no banking institution, in Bed-Stuy, in Harlem, in Crown Heights, on Flatbush. Again, back in those days, although our money was green as well, other banks did not see us as, they would possibly take a deposit from us. However, they would not make it possible for us to get whether it be a loan to purchase, to establish a business, or a mortgage to purchase a home. So that's where Carver Bank was started. Of course, things have changed. We've had gentrification where, yes, specifically in Bed-Stuy, there's now within a 2-block radius, there's approximately 6 banks. It was not so back then. Back then, there was no banks. So we were the only bank. Of course, things have changed, which is good. So now folks have choices, but that's why we were established. We're also considered a CDFI, which means that we're certified development financial institution, along with another acronym, MDI, which is a minority deposit institution. And in order to qualify to be an MDI, 60 cents of every dollar in your deposit has to be reinvested back within the community which you serve. And currently, I could say that Carver has exceeded that. Currently, we have 80 cents of every dollar being reinvested back into the community which we serve, in forms of loans, of course, to business owners and WBEs who look like me and you. Again, I'm not going to just go verbatim for everything here, but just a snapshot with this colorful bar here. We're, again, the 80 cents of every dollar within our community. Within the last PPP program, we were able to retain or sustain about 3,500 jobs, with approximately $35 million in small business loan to business owners who, again, because of course we have choices, most of who did not bank with us. However, we opened our doors so all those folks could come into Carver and get a loan when the banks that they were banking with say, oh, you want $50,000, we're more focused on a customer who wants $5 million. So we opened our door and we're at that pace again for this third tranche of PPP. Just to keep it within the time frame that's offered. Banking at a glance, we currently have 7 full service branches. However, because we're so limited with our brick and mortars, we have a partnership with the All Point Network, meaning that anywhere in America you go, we have access to the All Point Network, meaning you could just go in on your phone, Google All Point Network ATMs, you put in your zip code, the system will point you to a slew of them. 7-Eleven, Walgreens, McDonald's, wherever you go, and then there you can do free transactions at those ATMs. So although we're not in California, Florida, anywhere besides the tri-state area, we do have that reach where folks can access their funds. And again, with the current system, direct deposit, online banking, things like that. Today I was sitting in my bed, I made a deposit for a check. So no one needs to live next door to their bank anymore. So we're actually taking advantage of our technologies. One of the topics that I wanted to cover, I could expand on that, but I want our families to be educated on the importance of savings. Being in banking over 28 years, I've seen I've seen it all. I've seen folks get $1 million and within 2 years, they're back to no money. So here's what I say. Create a short-term plan. I would say make sure the least have a 3 to 6 months liquidity. which is enough to pay rent and buy food. That's the basic, because we have to live somewhere and we have to eat. That's a short-term plan. And also do a small investment in your 401k. Most bank, you don't even see that before it comes from your paycheck. Most institutions or jobs, they do participate in contributing to your 401k. So if you put $10, they might match you $5 or a couple of dollars. But these are tax deferred dollars, so you're not hurting for it. It's taken out of your paychecks at your gross. So my recommendation is do that. It might be short term, but over the years, it will pay off. And again, it's going tax deferred. So you're not paying any taxes on that. And Albert, I'm sure you'll expand on that later, maybe. Also have a midterm plan as well, savings. Again, this is going to be a hard one for most folks. However, if you start with the 3 to 6 months, then you can gradually move to 6 to 18 months. And this, we see what happened with the pandemic. We see folks miss one paycheck and had to go stand on a line to get food for free, could not feed their family. So we have to think, you know, what's going to happen tomorrow if, God forbid, my job closed down or I lose my job? What's going to happen? So we need to have enough funds set aside for a monthly expense and deal with an emergency. We lost 500,000 folks plus during this pandemic, husbands, wives, incomes. And a lot of these folks, unfortunately, they're feeling the brunt of it. So we have to plan for emergencies. No one want to think about it, but unfortunately, you could have your refrigerator in your house. You could go there and it's not freezing anymore. You might have to pay for someone to come in and fix it if your warranty expire, or you might have to purchase a new one. So those are things that you don't plan for because you see it every day. It's there. You have a car, you need to get to work. Bus not running, the train's not running. So you might have car trouble. You might have to buy a part, take it into the shop. So these are things that I would say for a midterm. You might have to purchase even a new car. And long-term is saving for your kids' college. You have a toddler, 18 years, God, bless you. He or she will be heading off to that direction. Of course, you want to put that aside to ensure that your child can be given that proper education. And of course, one of the best things, the American dream, is to purchase a home. We all want that. That's the best investment we could have because it grows in equity. You purchase a car, you drive it off the lot, immediately you start losing value. You purchase a home, a few years from that, you can say, yes, I see what I did. I see my money growing. And of course, we have to work. However, we need to take a vacation as well. So plan for your vacation. Please, please, please. I've seen folks come to the bank and take a loan to pay for vacation. If you have to take a loan to go on vacation, I don't think that vacation is worth it because you're coming back to more bills. And I've seen folks apply for a loan to go on vacation and get declined. So then what? You can't go anymore. So put something aside for that. And I know my time is winding down. I think I have another 5 minutes. Moving on to, so beyond all this, I would say that we have to look beyond the now. Look, Noreen sent me an article today, just jumping back to banking, working or banking with a Black-run institution, where a reputable lady in Connecticut, she's a business owner. She actually went to the bank to went to a TD bank to withdraw some funds. And although her check cleared, the bank teller told her that, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable giving you the money. And she gave her ID back and did not give her the money. It's world news now, so it's out there. So these are the things that if you come into the bank, you look like me, you look like Albert or someone else on this call, there will be more of a, I guess, it's not even a comfort level, but I see you. I'm not looking at you like, oh, this person is coming in here to rob the bank, or although your check clear, I don't feel comfy, so guess what? You're not getting your money today. So think about that. Last question is, 30 years old and I have not started saving yet. And my thing is easy. It's never too late to start. What I would say to a 20-year-old is to try to put away $50 monthly. So I would say that to a 30 years old, try to double that. come up with a budget, your monthly bill versus income. Spend within your means. Again, seminars like this is great. I remember when I was in, just to divert a bit, I was in Brooklyn College, and I remember I used to come on the sidewalk and there would be, all the banks would be out there with tables. They would have cups, mugs, umbrellas, pens, and I would walk down the line and fill out an application for a credit card. So I was in college, working part-time in Key Food, and I had 15 credit cards and they were all maxed out. No one was there telling me, Danette, maybe take one or two, or no, we cannot go on a college campus with a credit card application. So thank you for this, right? And do an inventory of your assets. Then I identify areas of opportunities. If you have 10 pairs of shoes, you'll see something nice. Don't buy in a splurge. Just, think about it first, swallow it, and think about the long-term value of a pair of shoes. Yes, we all want to look nice, but think about saving for the future versus having, tons of shoes. And lastly, set a goal. And you know what? We set a goal. We're gonna say by the end of 6 months, I want to have $5,000 in the bank. You might have to revisit that goal and say, you know what, that's not realistic. It's gonna be 2,500. Let's set something and stick to it. And if it's not working, you might have to revisit it and revise. And I just wanted to share again, Carver is a Black-run bank, and our board of directors. Here they are. Our president and CEO, Mr. Michael Pugh, is in the middle here. And again, so this is a board of 11 directors, and they're all Black or African American Caribbean, and they're all professionals. And of course, most boards now, you'll see the board of directors, they're all men. And we do have 3 women, and there's 3 strong women. So this, sky's the limit for us now. We no longer have to say, oh, I'm a woman, I can't do that. So that, just wanted to share that that piece with you. And again, thank you for having me on tonight, the Peli Firm and Albert, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Wonderful, wonderful, Dawn. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're gonna do you mind if we have a conversation about the presentation that you gave? Because again, I know how important all of this is, because of the industry that we're in. But I want to just expound on the information that you gave, and let's have a dialogue to help the viewers. Now, full disclosure, for me, my company's Hindsight Financials and Insurance Services, where we deal in investments and financial products. So the conversation that we're having is for educational purposes only. Please talk to your own financial advisor or tax advisor for your specific situation, because nothing is a one size fit all. So that's just my disclaimer. Let's go back to the 30-year-old picture slide that you have there. Well, let's start there. This is great.
Okay.
Because again, when we look at it from the financial side, that problems happen. What they say, if you failing the plan is a plan to fail. So you want to make sure that no matter what, you at least utilize your income properly and budget to make sure that you can achieve these saving goals, right? Because we know our energy that we put out is, our energy as we work is represented back in the paycheck that you receive. And one of the biggest expenses that an individual, even a business, will have is paying taxes, right? So paying taxes comes out first as an individual, and then you are allowed to spend what is the net of your income on your lifestyle, right? And again, we're not here to suggest that you need to not have the lifestyle you want, but we want to improve your ability to have the lifestyle that you want, but first understand the lifestyle that you need, first off. So when we look at the short-term budgeting, right? Very important, writing that budget down, understanding what it takes to live your life at a bare minimum. Because like for some people, they have experience when that paycheck stopped unannounced, they had to pivot, or they had to look to avenues or resources that will compensate them for the loss of income. Now that is done if you don't have a plan. So knowing what your income is, having that 3 to 6 months saved away. And again, we're not saying that it's gonna be saved overnight. It may take you a year or 3 years to be able to save 3 to 6 months separately. Okay. And again, banking with Carver is a wonderful thing because for every dollar that you deposit, 60% of it is lent back into the community. So it's recirculated. So as for anyone who wants to use a strategy, having an outside separate bank account not attached to your primary account where you don't necessarily see it, but you're automatically potentially putting money towards it, it is a better route of being able to save that 3 to 6 months cushion. Wouldn't you say that to be true, Dawn?
Yes, definitely. Totally agreed. Again, yes, start a small savings, and we all have to learn. I had to learn. So it doesn't happen overnight. And maybe put it in, like you mentioned, put it in somewhere where you're not actively going into your checking account. Put it in another institution. Don't get a debit card or an ATM card, and just sign up for auto debit, $25 every bi-weekly from your paycheck. That's it. You don't miss it. If you're gonna do it physically, it might not work. So just do it automatically, and that helps.
Well, for me personally, I've banked with Carver for many years, and banking with Carver 10 years ago, we didn't have that ease of digital payments.
Right. Yes.
Go in and make the deposit. But nonetheless, it did help me because it wasn't if I wanted to go out with my friends, if I was partying, it wasn't an accessible bank, in the
Exactly.
middle of the night because I know there's money there to withdraw the money. So it helped me to build that type of I want to say restraint, right? That restraint. And then when the next day came, I was like, hey, listen, I still had fun, but I didn't have to go into my savings account. So it became a habit of understanding that account is there for a purpose of saving, right?
Yeah.
And from my standpoint and my company standpoint, when we're looking at the ability to invest, it's better to invest with no debt, right? Because if you have debt, the amount of money that you're paying for the debt could be used to invest. So when we like to create a budget for individuals, we like to see, again, we see where they are, we meet them in their current situation. And again, it's a no judgment zone because everyone lives life. We figure things out as we go along. But in creating this budget, we would identify some of the needs of running the household, the family, the business, and then those extra additives that we've already accumulated, whether it be credit card loans, all of the excess that if you took time to pay off, and then once it's paid off, if you saw the amount of money that you were paying towards these extra curriculum credits or bills, if we then transfer that same amount of money into investment generating avenues. So if someone now is paying, I don't know, maybe $1,000 a month across the board on, credit cards, going out excessively, or just random things, if we can then change that mindset to say, hey, in the near future, once my budget is balanced, maybe I can use this $1,000 a month to invest towards my future. So that would give us the ability to have a better lifestyle in the long term, and we want to make sure that we explain to families that the hardest thing you can do is putting that budget on paper. You may not like what it says in the beginning, but knowing where you stand and having a plan on where you need to go in the long run, when you talk to your future self, you'll be much appreciative of the hard work that you do in the beginning. And this is how Carver Bank, Dawn, and her bankers are able to work towards, structuring that banking partnership, for individuals looking in the near future, in the far future, to have the ability to buy a home, save to open a business. We want to think long term. And for me, I keep saying for me because when I deal with clients in this regards, especially in light of Women's History Month, women realize they are likely to live longer than their male partners and understand that this could be a real financial concern, they often react to. And the information is taken in two ways. It's hyper focus on retirement planning and the possibility of missing out on some current life, pleasures, or they put their head in the sand and just stand by uh, the will of not, they don't have to worry about it. But that's a financial risk. If you don't think about it now, when it happens, you're not going to be prepared.
Yes.
So now let's just touch base on, what do you want to, I mean, I know you went through this slide and you suggested the importance of family saving, but in light of COVID,
Mhm.
what are some of the scenarios that you've seen mostly dealing in this past year?
Okay. Well, I could tell you, Albert, that I've seen where folks have actually done a 180. Some of the scenarios I've seen is that folks who used to shop a lot because the malls, the stores were closed, I've actually seen, short-term savings pick up because folks did not have that opportunity to go to a bar or to go to the mall. So because of that, we've had folks who worked throughout, or even those, if my son, he's a paraprofessional, so he worked from home and he get partial unemployment. And of course, he's young, he's 24. So he would be out with the friends and going places because he had to stay home. I could tell you that he saved a hefty chunk of money. And because of that, I think it's going to continue. Even when we open back up, he loves to see what he has in his account so much that I think that trend is going to continue. So I think that the pandemic, nothing good really came out of it, but the fact that some folks weren't able to have that freedom to do what they want, they kind of had to rethink. And when we watch the news and see folks on TV lining up box long to get a bag of potatoes and some onions to feed their family, that was a reality check. And on the flip side, for business owners, I could see that they bank with other banks because I guess they're shiny and bright. But at the end of the day, when that small business owner wanted a small paycheck protection loan, they came to Carver. And guess what? We rolled out the red carpet for them. And one of the things I could tell you, Albert, not many of them decided that, listen, I got approved, book my loan. I already bank with ABC Bank. I want my funds wired there. And we said, okay. So we did not force anyone, or it was not a requirement for them to establish a relationship with us at Carver. So we still open our doors and we still offer the opportunity. We would recommend you open an account with us, however, it wasn't required. So we saw different scenarios playing out.
Got it. And I completely understand, for someone who's had a previous habit of spending, when they realize that, hey, I've been able to live without spending, the new habit becomes the saving, right? And they like to see that bank account go from 100 to 1,000 and beyond.
Yes.
So that's just a good, healthy habit. And I've enjoyed that myself. So I definitely understand it. And for, business owners, I've seen that they are more appreciative of their business, as they survive this situation. For those who had to readjust, potentially even closing down, they were able to reflect and say, hey, how do I restructure? Because again, it all boils down to the budgeting. If you're budgeting, or if your cash flow is positive, you want to budget towards making sure that you can sustain. Now it's not just 3 to 6 months. Now we know COVID literally lasts a year. So again, whether it's personal or business, your long-term savings goal may need to be a 2-year horizon, learning from the situation. So we've learned a lot financially. And again, this is why we bring this kind of presentation to the forefront of the community, because we want to make sure that we give a forum for individuals to know that if they had any questions, where can they go, to get the answers. And again, not saying that we know all the answers, but if we can't answer it immediately, we'll definitely do the research to helping them get to where they want to go. So yes, listen, Ms. Hyatt, thank you so much for allowing me to have this brief conversation with you. The presentation in itself was wonderful because, again, we wanted to re-educate people about the importance of what Carver does in the community and show them that, yes, we are a close-knit community when it comes to banking and its footprint, but we have large reach, you know, as in the service that's provided. So it's very important to always reiterate that and let the community know how Carver can serve the community, and by the partnership, what it does for the banking and the relation for the community. Again, 60 cents on every dollar that is saved or that is banked with Carver is reintroduced back into the community for business loans initiatives that will support it. So thank you again for what Carver does. Thank you for always being there, you know, because you've been a great support to our business, because, you know, we want to be able to assist in either hand, and we want to be able to answer the questions as being that financial team for the individuals that come our way. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, Albert.
Not a problem. So I know we have one more presentate to come on. We want to just have them join in. We're going to change screens. Give us a second or two.
Albert, I think, let me pause my share, right? Pause. Should I pause it?
I'm going to change the controls.
Okay. Okay. So I just leave it there. All right.
Oh, well, no. I'm reading the questions here. So here's another question for you.
Go ahead.
How can I prepare my child to start saving?
Again, I've been with Carver, it's going to be 9 years, and I've known adults come up and say, you know, my mother brought me to Carver when I was 10 years old to open an account. And we have an account for a child age 6 to 17. They could start that account off with $10, and that's an interest-bearing savings account, and there's no balance requirement, and it earns interest. So we need to start from young. Right now, I work with the Excelsior program. I work with several middle schools to get accounts set up for kids. When I was at Flatbush, I used to go to a few schools, and what I would do, just take the form, the parents just have to sign it, and I just need the birth certificate, and we established those accounts. And I used to have a partnership with the school where they would collect money, and I would go and pick it up and go make those deposits. Have those kids come in, they fill out their little booklets, and it grows with them. So when they get their birthday monies, instead of go spending everything, they'll put half in the bank and spend half, and that's to bend the tree from its young.
Wow, wow. Wonderful. Listen, I don't know, as a child, how happy I'd be to send my money off and see it walk out the door with you. You know, I would want to buy candy, but nonetheless, building that habit from early is what's most important, to give them the understanding that this is how they control their financial freedom.
Yes.
Wonderful. All right. Let me see if there's any other questions here. Now, can you discuss, for a business owner, what would be the types of loans we can apply for?
Okay, at Carver, we have several. We have the traditional loan where we would require the last 3 years business tax returns, personal financial statement, and that's a conventional loan from $100,000 to $6 million. We also have another loan that we call the cash access loan. This is a small loan from $1,000 to $15,000, where, like the vendors in that was in the Cape Market, Albert. I know I've done a few with a few of those customers, clients who needed maybe $2,500 to replenish their stock. So we did that. And the requirement for the small business loan is much smaller. Last 2 years, maybe personal or business tax returns, and a credit score. Again, if the borrower fall below or requires, say, 650 credit score, and they've been with us for 10 years, then we add an additional 10 points onto the credit. So we have different workarounds to make our borrowers qualify. Unlike other banks where you're just a FICO and a Dun and Brad, and if you don't meet that, then it's a decline. So we have workarounds, even for the larger clients. If they or in our community, they're going to hire 4 or 5 people within the community. That is also taken into consideration when making a decision. So we have the traditional loan, we have the SBA 7A for startups, and we have the regular, just a small cash access loan. So we have, based on where you are within your business at the time, we'll meet you there.
So are you saying that you're more of a relationship bank?
Yes, we are.
See that? Wonderful, right?
More of a
'Cause you want to
relation.
be able to talk to the
Yes.
person, explain your scenario, and they understand you and your scenario in your business to make a better decision to help you move forward. So it's
Yes.
not just looking at the application and the black and white on the paper, but getting more in depth and understanding the circumstances around how the business and that person is operating.
True. And our loan officers, our senior loan officers live right here in Brooklyn. If I have to go visit a location, I'll call him, he'll jump in his car and we'll drive there. So we're not in Kansas or Timbuktu taking an application and don't know what the business look like, just some photos. We're there seeing it. We're seeing the people that you employ. We're seeing in your daily ongoing of your business. So all those things come into play, not just a credit score and Dun and Brad.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
I mean, I know Carver well, but again, I do want to make sure that other individuals get an opportunity to at least learn from this discussion and have the chance to visit a local branch and look up online of how Carver can assist them. So we have another question here. Well, we're going to jointly answer this one. On average,
Okay.
how much should someone in their 50s have in their 401k?
I mean, it's based on when you started. If you started at but back when I started 28 years ago, and you did the basic, the minimum, at least $200,000 should be there, you know, waiting for that retirement, at least $200,000. Again, it's when you started. So if you didn't start at the ripe age of 20 or 21, you started at 30 or 40. Maybe you have $100,000 in there. That's doing well. And if you started later and you have $50,000, again, you do have the option to catch up. So do your budget, see what your bills are, and if there's any extra, drop it in the 401k. See from your HR what the contribution of your employee, or if your employer is contributing, and up your ante. So then theirs will be up as well. So it's a percentage thing. So you have to, it's never too late to start. So if you have $50,000, kudos to you, increase on that, and there's no real set amount. It would be ideal, but of course, it's
Definitely.
Albert.
I mean, I know in asking this question, it felt like a trick question, right? Because there's really no one answer
Mhm.
towards it. So, but
Exactly.
again, we want to express that we are not we are just giving an educational purpose presentation. Your situation is solely, individualized to you. For the people on the call, please reach out to your financial advisors, your tax advisors, if for those relationships to answer your questions, or call the Peli Firm, call my firm, call Don. Let us understand how we can help you in your financial planning. And in that being said, you know, the amount of savings, I like to make a correlation to for the most part, wherever you live, how long does it take you to get to the airport, right? If the airport is, 20 minutes, 30 minutes away, and if you have a 9 o'clock flight in the morning, what's the best time to get there? If you leave at 6 in the morning, you have a luxurious time on getting to the airport and boarding your flight, right? And then if you wait till 8 o'clock, you have to do a little bit more of a risky drive to get to the
Mhm.
airport to make your flight at 9. And I say that to say it's a similar way when you look at your retirement planning. Now,
Mhm.
retirement planning is a word, but nonetheless, let's just call it your rich planning, right? Because some people who are young, they don't foresee themselves needing to plan for retirement because that just sounds like a far word at 25. So
Mhm.
the rich planning is what you need to plan for. Would you like a long, luxurious path, or do you want to have that shorter path that will make you have to take more riskier endeavors to catch up, right? Because again, we all know, depending on the person's retirement goal or rich plan goal, it's all about time. The more time that you put towards that investment period, the better off you will be, the less risk you have to take. But if the time is shorter, you have to really monitor, take a little bit more risk, and then not only pray and hope that it works, but really have an educated guess towards it. And nowadays, there is no real math equation, but if you have, you know, maybe 10 times your current earnings, if you can project to having that at the time that you want to be rich or when the time that you want to be retired, it would potentially be able to outstand inflation, the consumer price index, and things of that nature to better supply you with that additional income through retirement or that rich process where your money is working for you. So again, there's no set answer or equation to the question. It's an individualized planning goal. So we want to suggest that you reach out to your current financial team, or if not, please call the Peli Firm, call Dawn, call myself to find out what we can do to assist you in answering those questions specific to your needs.
Thank you.
All right, let's see, Dawn. Let's see if we have any additional. I don't see any.
Okay.
I'll give it 2 more seconds, a couple to see. Because if not, if there's anything additional that you would like to bring to the table, please just give out your office or whatever number you're comfortable with. So that's for those who can just write it down and jot it down and reach out to you in the morning.
Okay. So I'm on staycation this week. I go back to work on Monday, and my office number is, I should have written it on the slide. 212-360-8884. 212-360-8884.
Wonderful. You see, I'm glad that you're on your staycation, because if you are showing us a background of a beach and playing in the sand, we'd have taken offense to that.
I don't blame you.
Not too bright and happy.
Okay.
So let's just close out. Again, we want to make sure that we highlight and celebrate all the women for Women's History Month, those who created history already and those who are making history.
Yes, sir.
We want to make sure that we encourage, again, we all have women in our life, mothers, sisters, aunts. Some of my greatest mentors are women, and I appreciate everything that they've bestowed on me. So we want to make sure that you guys are highlighted. I say that you are highlighted often within the year, but it's all worth it. It's all welcomed. And we want to encourage for the participants in this webinar to talk to others who they may know who are willing to have the discussion. Make sure that they can, learn more about the financial opportunities that one has, making those plans to do better for the future. And hey, here's the biggest thing. Remember, we're in the midst of tax season. The Peli Firm is willing and able to work with all types of clients, small, large, growing. We are here to assist in your taxation needs. Dawn already spoke about the ability for Carver to take on new clients always, and the relationships that will be built from that. And again, for me at Hindsight Financials, we're all about working with the individual where they are and projecting how do we achieve those goals for them to move forward. So I want to thank everyone who participated in tonight's forum. We look forward to talking in next month, which is April. We've got the extension on the tax deadline into May. So April, we'll be talking again about homes and the spring cleaning and the relationship to home ownership and the interior decorating with a great presentator that's going to come up. So please, if you book it in your calendar for the 3rd Thursday of the month and bring it, just connect with the Peli Firm, connect with them on Facebook and join the business service group so you can learn more about the initiative that are going on. So I want to thank everyone again. Thank you for attending. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you for
You're
giving us
welcome.
that wonderful time and allowing us to have this brief conversation. And we want to make sure that everyone enjoys the evening.
Thank you.